repository manager that we had discussed yesterday. We had discussed about the repository manager where we had discussed about the validator option, which is used basically for validating the ORS just to check whether the MDM metadata and the database both are in sync or not. And then we had seen this export option using which we can do an export of all the metadata objects in an XML file. So this is basically a full export. Here we don't have an option to take like export of any particular mapping or something. This will take an export of all the metadata configuration that we have done from the MDM side. And then we can use that XML file to do either import that into some other environments. So that can be done using only two options. One is import and second is promote. So import is generally used only for the first time when we don't have any objects created in MDM. So the ORS should be empty, then only we can use it. So from second time onwards, that's the incremental changes, we cannot use this import option. So we will have to use this promote option. So that's why we generally don't use import. We always use the promote option to promote the changes to other environments. And in promote also we saw two things. One was visual and the second is change list. Visual is basically for selective promotion, where you can selectively say that I want to promote only a particular thing into the other environment. Whereas change list is basically will promote all the differences. So if you have created two base objects, for example, this change list will promote both the base objects into the other environment. But in the visual, at least you have an option that you can say that I want to promote only one base object into the other environment. So that flexibility is there in the visual. And finally, we had seen this part, the CWM file. CWM file is just an option which is provided, using which we can import our base objects, packages, or the landing tables. These options it gives. So in case we have not, means if you don't want to come and create into the MDM, we can use this, but basically that's very complex XML file that gets generated. And just like if we are able to understand it and create it, then we will not have to come and create the base objects directly here. But that is just an option, like as I discussed that in the interviews they might ask that if you have lot of tables, 100 tables, will you come to MDM and create it? Usually we don't have those many tables as such. We will have only couple of tables, 15-20 tables maximum in most of the places. So that can be done like easily. We can come create a temporary table in the backend, like the customer table, because we know what is the data type. We will have everything in the design document, so we can take all the columns and the data type, and based on that I can create a temporary table in the Oracle, come to MDM, create a table, and then import all the columns. So that method, in case someone is asking, you can save out that we have followed this approach. And yesterday, like, we took an export of the CWM file where we had exported the customer table, and then this import is there. If you want, you can import it back again. So if we go to our schema, this is the ORS that we were working on yesterday, test1_ORS. So from here, like, I had deleted the customer base object. So after taking an export, we had deleted it. So now if we want to restore it back, we can restore it back using the CWM file. So we can go back again to the repository manager and use this option, import from CWM file. Browse and select our file. So here you can see like only one base object is there, that's the customer base object, because for the customer base object only we had taken an export yesterday. So if you want to import this back again, we can just select this, but I want to import all the columns here, customer table and other columns. So columns we don't have an option, just we can select the tables that we want to import, and then we can use this. On the right hand side we have the supply change list. Using this supply change list, I can select the ORS on which I want to apply the changes and click on OK. So this will promote the changes into this ORS. So that's an option is there, but this is a very rarely used option. So we always use promote and import only, and we will be coming to MDM and creating all the things, creating the tables at least, and then we will be importing back all the columns. Okay, there's some error coming. Okay, this time it got imported. There was some connection issue. It was not able to create a connection. Now this has been imported, so we can go and check this in the ORS now. So this is the table C underscore customer which got created. So like this, if we can create this CWM file, we can import all the base objects, packages and the landing tables at least. And then once it is imported, then we can go and configure other things basically.
You are looking in, was it that one for Oracle or it was in Linux machine, right?
Sorry, can
you were looking in a Unix machine, right?
Yeah, on the Unix.
So you're looking for Oracle message or for?
No, application server log. That is a JBoss. The application server is JBoss, so I was looking into the JBoss logs.
Okay.
So it was not able to get a database connection, so it was failing.
Okay.
Next.
So Informatica, this MDM is installed on your Linux machine or Windows?
Mostly it is Linux one.
Linux.
Yes, yes. Okay, so these are the things which we do in the repository manager, basically for promoting the changes from one environment to the other environment. And next we will be looking into this part, which is the message queues. Vijay, can you please mute yourself? Thanks. So message queue is basically used for publishing the data to the downstream systems. So once like everything in the MDM has been matched and merged, we want to publish the data to the downstream system who wants to consume the MDM data, or probably to a central place, centralized system where we want this data to be stored so that it can be accessed by other systems. So two ways are there. First is like I can use again the ETL process and I can compare the MDM and this basically the target source systems or the downstream systems which want to access the MDM data and pass the data accordingly. So that is one of the option. Or the second option is real-time integration. So message queue is basically for the real-time integration. ETL process is not basically a real-time integration. That is like once everything is loaded, matched, merged, everything is completed, then we use the ETL process to pull the data from a MDM system and pass it to the downstream systems. But here, if we set up the message queues, that is basically a real-time. Real-time in the sense like whenever a record is coming in MDM, it will also be sent to the downstream system. Whenever it is updated in MDM, it will automatically get updated in the downstream system also. Similarly, merge and merge, whatever happens in the MDM, similar things will automatically get reflected in the downstream systems. So that's basically a real-time integration which we can set up using the message queues. So for the message queues, once we come here, we need to set up a connection factory and a queue. So connection factory is basically, connection factory is specified in your XML file. So there is an XML file basically which is called as a standalone -full.xml, and which I forgot to tell you about when we registered the database. So last time like we created this database test1_ORS and we had registered this ORS in MDM. So whenever we register any ORS in MDM, it basically gets stored in a particular file, and that file is basically in the application server. So I'll just go to that file and we can see this details there. So this is basically the location, like currently I'm using JBoss version 6.2. So with all the MDM version 10, we have to use JBoss 6.2. In the previous, like when we were using 971, in that case we were using like JBoss 6.0 or 6.1 version. So we have to use like JBoss 6.2 version when we use MDM 10. So we have to go to this particular location, JBoss, then standalone and configuration. In this place, we have a file called as standalone-full.xml. So in this basically standalone-full.xml, we have all the details. So we'll open this XML file. And here we can search for the words that we have created. So this is the ORS, basically test one. So once we register it, all the details will come here. So this is the details about the ORS, test1_ORS that we had created. So in case like this is also one place where you can come and find the passwords basically, because if you have created multiple like users and you have forgot what is the password of a particular ORS, you can come and check here. So here you can see what is the username test1_ORS and the password is like 2 times exclamation CMX and then exclamation again 2 times. So whenever we create a ORS and we register that into the MDM, it gets updated in this file, standalone-full.xml file, with the user ID and password and other all connection details. So in case we want to know the passwords of a particular ORS, we can come here to this file and get the passwords. So in the same file, if we go at the end, so there is a tag which is GMS connection factories. So starting tag and ending, this is the ending tag here on the down. So between this tag we have, like, there are a lot of default connection factories which are available. So I am using like this connection factory, just same name connection factory. So you have to copy this name connection factory, come here in the MDM console, go to message queues and just do a right click, add connection factory. Add connection factory is basically add message queue server. So we have to paste it here, that this is my connection factory name. So like this we can first register the connection factory, and under the connection factory we have to register the queues. So there are two types of queues which are present. One is called as the inbound queue and the second is called as an outbound queue. Inbound queue is basically a queue which will take the data and put that into the MDM tables. So whenever any change is happening, like whenever we are doing an inserts, update, deletes, in that case the inbound queue will work. Inbound queue will know that there are some changes happening in the MDM, basically inserts, updates, delete, and it will register that into MDM that there is a new change that has happened for a particular record. So that is called as an inbound queue. So this is inbound queue you can find here in the JMS destination. Just down the JMS connection factories, we have an option for JMS destinations. So if you are like doing for the first time, you can see only these two tags which will be present. So these two tags are basically used as an inbound queue, which will put all the data into the MDM tables. After that, we have to create some outbound queue. So outbound queue is basically used to publish the data to the downstream systems. So outbound queue, what we have to do is we have to just copy this tag. For example, we have this JMS queue, which the name of the queue is like Informatica MDM SSS JMS queue. We need to copy this queue and paste it and just replace the name. Like here we have Informatica MDM JMS queue. Instead of that, I can put my own names. Like I have put here QA, QB. So just I have replaced that name with A and B. So this becomes basically an outbound queue. So for every downstream systems, we have to create a queue. So if you say that from MDM, there are 5 downstream systems which want to access the MDM data. In that case, I will have to create 5 queues here, 5 outbound queues. And every source system, I will say that source system 1, that you can listen on QA. The source system 2, I can say you can listen on QB. So they have their own Java programs basically, using which they listen to the queue. And this basically is in form of XML. So whatever gets generated, even we can see those things, the XML basically which gets generated. And then it is published to the downstream systems. So XML is basically a mode of communication between the systems, because MDM is basically using Java, and the downstream system might be some other application, like maybe a Salesforce systems or a SAP system which needs MDM data. So usually there is a middle layer in between which understand both the things, which understand Java also and which can understand SAP or SLX also or Salesforce. So XML is read by that middleware and it can understand that XML, convert that into the other format and send it to them. So that is their responsibility basically to get this XML file, understand that what is happening there basically in MDM, whether it is an insert, update, delete happening, and process the data accordingly in their system. So from our side, like as MDM developer, if you say, we just have to check whether the messages are getting generated or not. If the messages are getting generated, then our task is done. So once we have created these queues, basically like I have created these two queues, and on the 97 box also these two queues are present. So you can use these two queues. So we have to register these queues into the MDM. So we have to come back here again in the MDM console, and we have to use this name. So let me go back again here. So here the last one we have JBoss exported q/a. So we need to use this last one. So you can just copy this fully, come to MDM console and just paste it. So like we can come to the connection message queue. Sorry, click on the connection factory and add message queue. And here we can paste the message queue. So like this, a message queue basically gets created. So as of now, I will give it a separate name like C, which is not there at all, which we have not registered in the XML file. So here, like whenever we go and create it, any queue, it gives us these options: leave unassigned, use with message trigger, or use legacy event XML. So we have to use this option, the second one, use with message trigger. After selecting this, if you click on the test button, as of now it will throw an error because QC is not present. So this message is coming like the test failed because we don't have the QC. So if we go to the QA and QB, so Q and QB basically, yeah, QB and at least an option is coming here because QB is not being used currently by any message triggers. So here we can see these all three options, and I can click on the test button and it will say that the test queue succeeded. The same thing, same three options are not coming in QA. This is because the message trigger is currently in use. So this queue is basically used currently. That is why it is not giving that option. So, but we have an option for test. I can test whether this queue is working fine or not. So this queue is also working. So these are the two things that you have to do from the configuration perspective. First, you have to go to the JBoss. You need to add the outbound queues. Once you have added the outbound queues, you will have to come and restart the server. Basically, the JBoss application has to be restarted. Once we have done this, I need to come here to the message queues, add a connection factory, and under connection factory, I will have to add all my queues that we have created. So we can create a queue with the name of the source system also, like in the training we are using like CRM system and the sales system. So we can say queue/CRM, queue/sales, just to know that I am sending it to the CRM system or to the sales system, just for a better understanding. So once this is done, now we have to go to the ORS level. That's the next level. So in the ORS level, we have to go to a particular base object. For whichever base object we want to do, we have to go to the base object. Under the base object, we have an option for message trigger setup. So for this customer, already there is a message trigger which is set up. So we can set it up again, because this customer whatever trigger is there which we have created is using queue. On this you can see there is a queue A is mentioned. Target message queue is JBoss exported queue/A. So that is fine. We can use second queue, which is QB, because we know that for each and every source system we have to create a separate message trigger, because they will be listening on a different queue. So we'll do a right click here, add message trigger, and we can give a name to this trigger like customer trigger B. And after that we have to select the package. What is the package used to build the messages? So we'll select this package, which is a put package. The next thing it will ask is what is the queue that you want to use. So this time we can select QB, and these are the actions basically. So it will ask you on when you want to generate basically an XML file, or when you want to trigger a message. So these are the events or the options which are available. So we can add as of now, like adding new data, updating existing data, merging data and unmerging data. So these four I have selected as an event here, and on the right hand side we have to select the source system name, that for which source system you want to generate these events. So I will select these three systems, like admin system or CRM system or sales system. From any one of them, if I am getting a new data or updates, I want a message to be generated. And again, once we do this, again we have to click on the next button and select the columns, that on what columns you want the message to be generated. So usually we don't select any specific column. We can just click on the above checkbox basically, that if any of the column changes, any of the business column is getting changed, I want a message trigger to be generated. And then click on the finish. So like this, a message trigger will get created here. This we have to do for all the base objects, customer, address, or whatever base objects you have. Basically all the business tables, not the lookup tables. For all the business tables, we'll have to come and configure the trigger. So this is the trigger that we created just now. So we have two triggers now. One is trigger A and second is trigger B. So if we have two triggers, we can say that CRM system that you should listen on trigger A, and sales we can say that you can listen on trigger B. So they have their own Java programs basically which listen to these queues, and whenever a message is put on the queue, they will get that message and update their system accordingly. So once this change is done, means once you have done this for all the base objects for which you want to do, the next thing that you have to do is you need to go to the audit manager. Audit manager is basically used for auditing the changes. So here we have an option for message queues. So once we come here, we can, like I have already enabled this audit and include XML. So just enable them, enable the audit and include the XML. Because see, it is not required as such, but if you want to initially, in the initial phase, if you want to look into the data, like when I insert any record or when I update any record, what XML is getting generated, which is sent to the downstream systems. So if you want to look into that, you will have to enable the audit. Then there is an audit table, C reports audit. That's the name of the table. In that audit table, we can go and see the XML file. So this change is required, plus one more change is required, that is the SIF manager. In the SIF manager, we have to go to the JMS event schema manager and use this option, find out of sync objects. So if there is any out of sync object, like I have already generated it previously, so when I am checking it, it is not showing that any objects are there which is out of sync. So if we see something like coming on the down that there is some object which is out of sync, I can use this option, generate and deploy ORS specific schema. So this has to be done, so then only the messages will be published properly, otherwise there will be some issues in the publishing process. So these are the three things that you have to do. This means once you do this, the setup of message queue is complete. So the first change was in your JBoss. You need to go to the JBoss and open this standalone -full.xml file and add your outbound queues there. Once you have added those outbound queues, you have to come to MDM console and you need to go to the message queues and register your connection factory and the queues that you have created. And then you have to come to all the base objects and create this message triggers. And plus the fourth thing is enabling the audit and generating this SIF services for JMS. So we'll just revalidate the ORS and then we'll go and try to make some changes to a particular record. In the meantime, I will just open SQL Developer. So basically there are two tables which are used for message queues. This is the main table, which is crepos MQ data change. So this table basically captures all the details. Whenever a record, like whatever options we have selected, whenever a record is updated or inserted or merge or unmerge, these are the four options that we have selected. So if anything happens, the message trigger gets generated and it will be put into this table. And the second table is crepos audit. In this table, basically we can go and check the XML file, that what is the XML file which is generated and what data it contains. So we'll go to the MDM and we'll try to edit some record or add any record. So for adding the record, we can use this data manager. So we will go and select the customer base objects and then the put package. So here we'll add a new record. So here I am adding a new record here, and once you click on OK, it will give me the row ID object. So row ID object is 20003, which has been created. So because a new record has been created, now I can go and see in my crepos MQ data change table. So in this table you can see these are the two messages which has come here. And for the insert, basically two rows are coming because we will see the rule, like there are two rules which we have created. So because we have two message trigger setup A and B, customer trigger A and customer trigger B, that is why it has generated two messages for it. So here we can see the row ID MQ rule. It is showing different values here. And the other main important thing is send status ID. Send status ID is 0, basically means the message trigger is still not published. So it takes some time to publish the messages, and once it is published, it will give like send status ID as 1. And if there is any failure, it will give status ID as 2. So these are the three status messages which you will see. So 0 as of now it is not published, and above ones like which are having 1, they are basically published, and in case we see 2 means there is some issue, so that will come as a not published. And there are some other tables also for message triggers. See the post tables. And this is the table cRepos MQ change type, which will tell you basically what is the different types of changes that we are trying to do. So as of now, like we have inserted a new record, so MQ change type is 1. So this value we can see in the cRepos MQ data change also. If we go to the cRepos MQ data change, we can see the change type here. Change type is 1. Means this record is basically inserted. And then similarly rules, you can see cRepos MQ rule. So if we come here, we can see these. For customer, we have created two triggers, customer trigger A and customer trigger B. And this is the name of the MQ rule. So the same value, row ID MQ rule, we are seeing in the cRepos MQ data change. So we can join all these tables and we can get exactly like what is the rule name and on which table it is getting fired. So row ID table is also like you can go to cRepos tables and we can use this row ID table to get the table name that it is basically being used for the customer table. Okay, so now if you see here, the send status ID is 1 now. 1 means that the record has been published to the downstream systems. So now once the records are published, now we can go and see in the audit table. Unless the record is published, we cannot go and see in the audit table. It will be coming only once the record is published. So now if we go to this audit table, we can see like two records here. These are the two records. And here you can see the queues. There are two queues, QA and QB. For both of them, it has generated it. And if you go here, this is the data XML. So in the data XML, we can find exactly what was the XML that was generated and published to the downstream systems. So we'll copy this and we'll just do a formatting in SOAP UI. Okay, so I have copied that into this SOAP UI and I just did a format. So here we can see the details. So here we have the customer update. So here all the details are going. So whatever the row ID object we had, consolidation indicator value, and all the business columns, whatever values we have. Plus on the top, if you see, it shows that this is an insert. Then the base object name, for which base object the insert has happened. So this is for customer base object. Similarly, the package which was used for this, the ORS name, that's the next thing, database ID or the ORS name, and what is the trigger name. So these all things are basically published, and it will also tell you that which is the system name. This is the source system. So system name is admin, and what is the primary key, source key. PK source object is this one. So all these details basically it will pull and it will send it to the downstream system. So downstream system will have to read this XML file, understand what is being happening here, and then insert the record in their system accordingly. So this is basically the message trigger, which is used for the real-time integration. If you want real-time integration with the downstream systems, we can configure the message.
Hello. Hi, Vinay.
Yes, tell me.
Actually, your voice is echoing. Like,
You are listening to some video, because I was not talking at that time when some in the background my voice was coming. Maybe because of that. Just check. So similarly, like this is for update. If we go and do an insert, sorry, this is for insert. If we go and do an update, or if we do a merge, unmerge, similarly messages will be published and it will be published to the downstream systems. So as a developer, our responsibility is that whenever we go and in the initial phase, basically, that once we go and insert any record or update, merge, unmerge the record, we should just go and see in the backend whether the records have come into the C repos MQ data change table or not. And next thing, whether it is getting published or not. Once it is published, we will go to the C repos audit table and we will read the XML just to see that like whatever contents are present here, like the values, first name, middle name, last name, are correct or not. Whatever values we have given, anything as such in this is just to check like what is the install